Next, we are moving on to our inauguration ceremony. I would like to call upon Mr. Rajan Menon to take our mic from me.
His Excellency Shri Sanjay Verma, ladies and gentlemen, the 6th edition of Utsavam, starting today and running through the next 4 days, is being staged as a part of UAE's National Day celebrations. We in Tirunottam take this opportunity to congratulate the President, His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Vice President and Prime Minister, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Supreme Council members of this country on the 41st National Day. We also express our sincere thanks for the wonderful environment provided to us, the expatriates, and for encouraging promotion of all cultures. Tirunottam, it is claimed, stands for culture that transcends generations. And I, having been part of 2 generations of organizers, can certainly vouch for this. 25 years ago, the nomenclature of the organizing team may have been different, but the culture that was promoted was exactly the same. The team then would commit to a performance only after being sure of raising the necessary funds. Today's team, we see the new generation drawing agreements with the artist well and early, and then embarking on raising finances. Then we were a motley crowd of not more than 10 or 12 dedicated volunteers. Today we have often more than 30 attending the meetings and a lot more working in the background. It called for superhuman efforts to stage even a 2-day Kathakali performance and to fill a hall of 250 capacity for the old generation. Now, a 4-day, 40-hour Utsavams have become the order of the day, and that too with floating audiences of over 4,000 to 5,000 over 4 days. Koodiyattam, the 22,000-year-old Sanskrit drama, which fails to have more than 5 or 6 attendees even in Kerala, is slowly gaining popularity in Dubai, which then we dared not attempt. Having said that, what remained constant was the passion for the culture, which has certainly transcended generations, and I am sure will continue transcending. For Tirunottam's stand for culture that transcends generations, the walking sticks were provided by our Consulate General of India and the Consul Generals who presided over. Their patronage has gone a long way in making Utsavams a signature event in the Dubai calendar of events. Aiding a geometric change in the way Kathakali and other classical forms are promoted is the way corporates of this country have started viewing the spends on sponsorships. For sure, added to the social responsibility pitch is the value they attach to culture. The Utsavams of last 5-6 years has seen innumerable sponsors pitching in to make our ambitions a reality. We in Tirunottam, in all our modesty, owe our success to their benevolence. A good part of our burden is also being underwritten by a good amount of donations from connoisseurs of the art form. And the motivation for all this, needless to say, comes from the response we get from all of you. For sure, it will be our endeavor to ensure that this event continues to be of the highest standard. We have a small, as has been the custom in Tirunottam, every Utsavam, every day is dedicated to one maestro. I now invite, we have today, the first day of the event is dedicated to the memory of Mr. David Bolland. A little talk about, and I would request Pradeep Verma to perform the dedication ceremony in a typical Indian tradition.
Shailadhirajatanayam Sharadindu Kodi Bhaswan Mughambujakiridayudam Trinetram Sangharya Bhiti Varavaryakaram Manojñam Mugambigam Munisurabhayadam Smarami.
Who was David Bolland? At a time when an average Keralite could be found sleeping through a Kathakali performance in the village temple grounds, waking up only when frenzied appearance of demonic characters, an Englishman was slowly but surely becoming this sublime theatre's greatest connoisseur. 17 years and 146 concerts, all of which carefully videographed, is what took late Mr. Bolland to achieve this informal accolade. Mr. Bolland first sailed into India in the year 1946 to take up assignment with Pierce Leslie Company. Living in Calicut, a city not far from Valluvanad, what many consider to be the Kathakali granary of India, he saw his first Kathakali play in 1954. From then on until 71, he traveled the length and breadth of Kerala, assimilating the cultural classicism of the state, kept exhaustive notes on each and every concert, filmed many of them. An abridged version of this will be shown later during the day. Whilst his notes, guided by his mentor and guru, Mr. KPS Menon, formed the basis of his book entitled A Guide to Kathakali, now in its 3rd edition and recognized as the best English language introduction to this theatre, the compilation of his filming, a 40-minute Mask of Malabar, and the shorter version Malabar Mask, won him 26 awards at the International Amateur Film Festival. Even after returning to England in 1971, and I was told that his house in Somerset is called Malabar House, such was his passion for this art form, that he for years, till 1990, continued visiting Kerala to be with his friends from the Kathakali fraternity and filming their performance. He built in his house in Somerset a small viewing cinema and editing studio to work on his collection, which besides Kathakali, he had another 18 films on other aspects of Indian life and culture. This great supporter and promoter of Kerala's classical art form was lost to this world in May 31st, 2012. May his soul rest in peace. We shall now proceed with the inauguration ceremony. The film will be shown a little later. I would now request His Excellency, the Consul General of India, to kindly come forward to the stage. Shri Sanjay Verma joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1990. As a career diplomat, his overseas assignments have included economic and commercial work in Hong Kong, press, political and consular responsibilities in Manila, spokesman of the embassy, counselor culture and secretary of India and Nepal. Assignments at headquarters in South Block have included the China desk as aide to the spokesperson of the foreign ministry. Prior to Dubai, his assignment in New Delhi was as the first joint secretary, director general of the newly created Energy Security Division. Shri Sanjay Verma grew up in India's commercial capital, Mumbai, a state rank holder in the higher secondary from Wilson College. He graduated with distinction from University of Bombay with an honors degree in economics. He holds a master's in international studies from JNU and a fellowship in international studies from the University Grand Commission of India. Not many people know he was a university-level hockey player. His current interests are reading, popular Indian culture and films. He's married to Mrs. Sangeeta Matta, and they have a daughter named Sanya. I would now request Shri KRC Menon to kindly come on stage. I also request Shri K. Kumar to come on stage. We shall start the proceedings by lighting the lamp. I also invite Sadanam Krishnankutty Ashan, and I request him also to come on stage. He is already attired for the next performance. Give him a big hand, please. I would now request His Excellency Shri Sanjay Verma to say a few words.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar and good evening to everybody in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media. It gives me great pleasure to be here this evening. This is a very opportune time. It also is a time to celebrate the 41st National Day of the UAE. And as a community which has a substantial stake in the prosperity and stability of the UAE, I think we as Indians have a substantial reason to celebrate UAE's National Day. So I take this occasion and on behalf of all of you present in this hall today and on behalf of the Indian Consulate in Dubai, extend our warmest felicitations to the rulers and government and the friendly people of the United Arab Emirates on their 41st National Day. In my tenure, which is now approaching 3 years in Dubai, in 3 years, there are only 4 occasions that the consulate has patronized a cultural event outside the consulate. And out of the 4 times, thrice that honor has gone to Thiruvannamalai. And only once, otherwise, the patronage went to a show which was dedicated to Jagjit Singh and which Gulzar Saab himself had come a couple of months ago. It is always difficult when the consulate, or if you ask any government servant, to extend patronage of the government or to extend the usage of the Ashoka emblem, because it signifies so many things. For me, the first reaction for anybody who authorizes that is, I hope they're doing it right. I hope nobody's getting swindled. I hope nobody's making money using the emblem of the country. But with Thiruvannamalai, I've had no issues at all. And I simply say this because if the Indian community in the United Arab Emirates is about 1.8 million people, about 40%, some would say close to 50%, are Malayalis. And there is always a return to cultural traditions, cultural practices in the Malayali community. I see it in schools, I see it in associations. If there's Onam coming or any other occasion, you will always find glimpses of the culture from Kerala. Even in schools, children are encouraged to either sing in Malayalam or the art forms, etc. But all that, all the expression which I see among the Malayalis in Dubai and the Northern Emirates is on the margins of Malayali, or we call the traditional art form or the culture of Kerala. But with Trinottam, I think they go to the heart. They go to the pure culture. They go to the essence. And why this is admirable is because this is a band of people who, like you and me, have a regular job. This is only their crazy passion. And I'm sure their wives or their colleagues must be saying, what's wrong with you? Why are you devoting so much time to a dance form you are not directly associated? Let others do it. But I know there is a certain madness, a certain genius, a desire to popularize, propagate, add to something which is great. And year in, year out, to do that requires a lot of effort and a lot of unexplained passion. And that passion is not complete without you, without the audience. Your job is easy, at the same time difficult. It is easy because it's easy for you. Maybe you can leave from office an hour early to tell your bosses or tell your subordinates, handle the job, I'm going for this cultural show, and you sit in a nice, comfortable chair. But that's the easy part. The difficult part for you as an audience is to take something away from this performance, capture an intimate moment, a moment which will stay with you for life, and which you can then transfer to the young generation, to your friends, introduce them to the great art, the classical dance forms of Kerala, and take it forward. Because these, my friends in Trinottam, can only go to a point. The larger ripple, like throwing a stone of culture in a pond, the ripples are you. You, your friends, your children, your associates. You have to take a bit of that responsibility. The circle is not complete unless you pass the baton on so that the culture of India, the culture of Kerala lives on. Because propagating culture is a difficult thing. Now, I saw the dancer. He is a great master. But I'm sure a film hero in mainstream Bollywood makes probably 10,000 times more for 6 months than the poor artist has done for the last 30, 40, 50 years. Because life is not fair. Life is unfair. So people like you have to contribute in some way or the other. Why did the Britisher propagate? He had nothing to do with Indian culture. But he saw some genius in the art form, and he felt he needed to do his bit. If foreigners can do it, we as Indians can do it. So I leave you with this thought that you also need to do something to preserve the art forms, not just of Kerala, but the traditional art forms, because they face tough competition. The attention span of children is reducing. The way they switch channels, nothing holds their attention. If this is the way our next generation is going to come up, then you can say goodbye to all our classical art forms, unless you do something about it. So I leave that with this thought with you, and hopefully in your own way, in your little way, you will contribute to a movement, to a drive, to an effort which will help us and a forthcoming generation to enjoy what is best in our culture. And I wish my friends here the very best. May your movement, may your passion extend to many more years. I won't be here this year, at this time next year, but I hope to see that the amount of, you just have to look at their artwork, look at the invitation, the quality of the printing, the language used, photographs, imagery. It is better than the best event managers do for high-profile shows. I could go on and on, but I need to be elsewhere as well. But really, from the bottom of my heart, I don't know why you have this crazy thing in you, but God bless you, and carry on. Thank you.
Tirunottam is engaged not only in bringing all these art forms for Dubai residents to see, we also do a lot of charity work. Charity for the artists specifically. Now, one class of charity that we do is every year we identify the most talented youngster from the various schools of Kathakali back home in India, and we sponsor his performances in different parts of Kerala. What happens is, normally a young artist, it's by the time he gets into, a young talented artist, by the time he gets into a main role in a theater, it takes many years. But by this sponsorship, we try and encourage various sabhas of Kerala to try and give him an important role in most of the performances. This is one of the charity of encouraging talent. The other thing that we keep doing is a lot of artists, after a certain time, after they become old, they become aged, they may not have enough sufficient funds to even go through the remaining part of the life. As His Excellency said, life is not fair all over. Yes, we do have a contribution which is given to the needy artists from the various funds that we collect from here. And constantly we keep doing this charity. Today, we have decided, Tirunottam has decided to have another form of charity. We have decided from us to contribute a certain sum which has been given to a local charity work, which is organized by ICWC. And on behalf of ICWC, I would request him to kindly please come forward for receiving this. Kumar to come forward. Before we proceed further, His Excellency Sanjay Verma has got other appointments and would certainly like to leave, and we would request Mr. Narayanan to kindly, a token of our appreciation. And a small memento for His Excellency would like to leave. I would now request Shri Kumar to come and say a few words.
In most of the public meetings where the Consul General speaks, the speaker next finds it difficult to cope up with. So it was said by a local senior official, the best thing is to say, I agree with whatever he said. I think I would quote that as an opening remark. I think it's not a time for a lot of speeches, because all of you are waiting to witness the wonderful art form that's just about to unfold. On behalf of the Indian Community Welfare Committee, which looks after the welfare activities of the community at large and the underprivileged, I would like to first of all thank the organizers for having donated a sum to the Indian Community Welfare Committee. Thank you so much. As Mr. Rajan Menon rightly pointed out, I have had also the privilege of knowing the second generation and the first generation. And again, I couldn't agree with him more. It is the passion, it is the madness, whatever the CG said. You need drivers to take things forward. I think this young group of people have dedicated, if anybody is regular at the Facebook, the number of postings that every day you see, the new postings, is evidence of what's happening, what's working them. They start from the beginning of the year till the program ends, and then soon after the program ends, they're working on the next event. I wish all the organizers, all these youngsters, all the very best. Also this year's Tirunottam a grand success, as it has always been. And this is like not only sponsored by the Government of India, carry the logo, even the local government such as the RTA was one of the sponsors a couple of years before. So even the local government departments are keen to promote cultures, particularly brought up by this group So they're lucky to have the patronage of both the Government of India as well as Government of UAE as well. With that, I would like to place on record our sincere appreciation for whatever is being done and wish all the artists all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kumar, for calling me young. We have a few more guests who are here. I would kindly request them to come forward to the stage as part of the inauguration. Mr. Pramod from the UAE Exchange Group. Mr. S.J. Nair from the Asiatic. Georgia from the GEMS Group. Madam Varki and GEMS Group has been an extremely great support for holding this great Utsavam programs that we have been having over the last 3-4 years. It's the facilities, the infrastructure, the arrangements that we have got is something absolutely marvelous. And on behalf of Tirunottam, I would request you to kindly convey our feelings about the wonderful facilities we have been being given all these years. Thank you very much. I would also request Mr. Anandakrishnan of AV Concepts. Is he here? Mr. Anandakrishnan, Managing Director of AV Concepts. All right, a few felicitations. We'll carry on first to Mr. Kumar. I would request Kumar, now being a part of us, to kindly felicitate Mr. Pramod of UA Exchange, who has been a great supporter for this year's event. I would request Mr. KRC Menon to felicitate Mr. S.J. Nair of Asiatic. Asiatic Printers have been helping us with most of our printing work, including the souvenir, and has been tolerating a lot of our inefficiencies, I'm sure. We invariably do this last minute, and probably the souvenir, if I'm not mistaken, would have been given to him this morning. Thank you very much. I would request kindly felicitate Mr. KRC Menon. We would now have a small function to release the souvenir for the year 2012. And I would request Shri Kumar to kindly hand over the souvenir of this year to Georgia. She would be receiving it on behalf of. His Excellency talked about the wonderful invitation and souvenirs and the design, etc., which has been, and this has been made possible by one individual who has been more than a member of this organization, more than any one of us. I would request Shafiq to kindly come forward. He has been the designer, and he has, for the last several years, Shafiq, please give him a big hand. All the wonderful designs, all the wonderful graphics that you see, he has been the sole reason for all this, and he has given such a fantastic he and his better half has tolerated most of us who have gone to his house, made him sit late night, requested his spouse to give us, his better half to give us tea, coffee at late 2 o'clock in the night. Give him a big hand, please. Shafiq has been wonderful for us. Thank you very much, Shafiq. We would now, having completed the inauguration ceremony, kindly. As mentioned, we will now show you a small sample of what Shri David Boland had done for Kathakali. It is an abridged version. His bigger version is about 40 or 50 minutes, but we are going to show you what he had filmed many years ago in his small little camera, which then later got videographed. After going back to London, he has contributed this collection to Rose Bruford College of Performing Arts and Theatre, and they keep all his collections so far. And we have with us, we have been communicating with Rose Bruford College and also his daughter. Some messages of his will be read out after the documentary is shown to you.
Nowadays better known as Kerala, have been enjoying the ancient pageantry of their annual temple festival. Soon it will reach its climax, but later tonight there will be another colourful example of the heritage of this southwest corner of India.